The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of Harrison Industries, casting gentle shadows across the polished marble floor. Thomas Harrison sat in his corner office, reviewing resumes for the administrative assistant position his company desperately needed to fill. At 58, he had built his business from the ground up, but lately he found himself thinking more about the people behind the paperwork than the numbers on spreadsheets. His assistant knocked softly. "Mr. Harrison, your 10 o'clock appointment is here, though there seems to be a slight situation." Thomas looked up, adjusting his navy suit jacket. "What kind of situation, Margaret?" "Well, sir, you might want to see for yourself." Curious, Thomas walked toward the reception area. What he saw made him pause completely. Standing near the leather chairs was a small girl, no more than 5 or 6 years old. She had blonde hair tied in 2 neat pigtails, wearing a gray cardigan over a soft pink dress. In her tiny hands, she clutched a brown leather folder that seemed almost too big for her to carry. The child looked up at him with wide, serious blue eyes. Her voice was clear and determined as she spoke. "Hello, Mom's sick, so I came instead." Thomas blinked, processing what he was hearing. He knelt down slowly, bringing himself to her eye level. "I'm sorry, sweetheart." "What did you say?" "My mom, Rebecca Martinez, was supposed to come for the job interview today," the little girl explained patiently. "But she woke up with a really bad fever and couldn't get out of bed. She cried because she said this job was really important. So I told her I would come and tell you she's sorry and ask if maybe you could wait for her to get better." Thomas felt something shift in his chest. In 30 years of business, he had never encountered anything quite like this. "And what's your name, honey?" "I'm Sophie Martinez," she replied, holding out the folder. "Mom wrote you a letter explaining everything. She also sent her resume and references. She made me promise to give it to you personally and to say please and thank you." Taking the folder gently, Thomas noticed how carefully it had been prepared. Even in her illness, this woman had made sure her daughter was dressed neatly and had everything organized. "Sophie, how did you get here today?" "Mrs. Henderson from next door drove me. She's waiting in the parking lot. Mom gave her gas money." Sophie shifted from one small foot to the other. "Mom really needs this job, sir. We moved here after Dad died, and she's been looking for work for 2 months. She studied really hard for today and practiced answering questions in the mirror." Thomas opened the folder. Inside was a handwritten note on simple stationery, the handwriting slightly shaky from fever but still legible. "Dear Mr. Harrison, I am deeply sorry for missing our interview today. I have been battling a high fever since yesterday and cannot risk exposing anyone to illness. My daughter Sophie insisted on delivering this personally to show you that I take this opportunity very seriously. I am a single mother who recently relocated here and am eager to contribute to your company when I recover. I hope you might consider rescheduling. Respectfully, Rebecca Martinez." Beneath the note was a well-organized resume showing 8 years of administrative experience, excellent references, and recent completion of additional computer courses. Thomas could see the care and hope that had gone into every page. "Sophie," Thomas said quietly, "your mom sounds like a very special person." "She is," Sophie nodded earnestly. "She reads to me every night, even when she's tired from job hunting. And she always makes me breakfast, even when we don't have very much food. She says being a mom is the most important job in the world. But she needs another job, too, so we can stay in our apartment." Something about the child's innocent honesty and her mother's determination touched Thomas deeply. He thought about his own journey. How many times people had taken chances on him when he was struggling to build something meaningful. "Sophie, I want you to take a message back to your mom, okay?" The little girl nodded solemnly. "Tell her that the job is hers if she wants it. She doesn't need to interview. Anyone who raises a daughter like you, who cares enough to send you here with such an important message, is exactly the kind of person I want working with us." Sophie's eyes widened. "Really? You mean Mom got the job?" "She got the job," Thomas smiled. "And tell her she can start whenever she's feeling better." "We'll wait." "Oh, thank you." Sophie's face lit up with pure joy. "Can I hug you? Mom says we should always thank people who are kind to us." Thomas felt his eyes grow misty as the small girl wrapped her arms around his neck. In that moment, He remembered what really mattered in business and in life. "Sophie, there's one more thing," Thomas said as he walked her toward the door. "Your mom is going to need some help with after-school care, isn't she?" Sophie nodded. "Mrs. Henderson has been watching me, but Mom worries about asking too much." "Well, we have a small library here in the office where you can do homework while your mom finishes her workday. Would you like that?" "I love reading," Sophie said softly, "and I'm very quiet." As Thomas watched the little girl walk back to Mrs. Henderson's car, folder in hand and a spring in her step, he realized this had been the most important interview of his career, not because of qualifications or experience, but because of character, love, and the courage of a child advocating for her mother. 3 days later, Rebecca Martinez walked into Harrison Industries, her cheeks still slightly pale from her illness, but her handshake firm and confident. "Mr. Harrison, I cannot thank you enough." "Mrs. Martinez," Thomas replied warmly, "after meeting your daughter, I think I should be thanking you. She showed me something I had forgotten in all my years of business." "What's that?" Thomas glanced toward the small library area where Sophie sat quietly with a picture book, occasionally looking up to wave at her mother. "That the best measure of a person isn't what they can do for you, but how they love the people who depend on them." Rebecca Martinez became one of the most dedicated employees Harrison Industries ever had. And every afternoon, as Sophie did her homework in the corner library, Thomas was reminded that kindness, when given freely, always finds its way back home. Sometimes the most important decisions we make aren't about business at all. They're about recognizing goodness when it walks through our door, no matter how small the messenger might be.